The Scholastic Ball Report is sponsored by UK Sports Medicine and by Central Bank, Crown Trophy, Double Dogs, Ford Brothers Auction, Kentucky Orthodontics and Invisalign, La Rosa's Pizza, Mingy Beef Jerky, Panel Swim Shop, Prep Spin, P-Rats, Rafferty's, Raising Cane's, Roberts Insurance, Sutherland Chevrolet, and by Whitaker Bank.
Hello and welcome to the Scholastic Ball Report. I'm Bridget DeVries and I'll be your host for this week's show. As always, we have a great show lined up for you. First and foremost, we'll have a feature from WKYT with some great sports from around the state. In our feature behind the scenes this week, you're going to be treated to a special tour of the press box at Kroger Field during the KHSAA UK Sports Medicine State Football Championships. The web streamer William Warfield is going to show you around some things that go on during an actual state championship. Roberts Insurance, who's one of our greatest sponsors, team of the week is special this week too. It's going to be from Augusta High School, the boys basketball team. And a special little treat, Coach Jason Henson got his 200th win on his very first game of the season. And from Nicholasville, we have the Sutherland Chevrolet Drive of the Week. They are going to take you on down the road with some great high school sports action. From UK Sports Medicine, we have the Director of Outreach and Athletic Training, Rob Ellery, is going to talk to us about new COVID procedures that are going to go on because of the beginning of boys and girls basketball season. So changes are in the works, and that'll be very interesting to hear about. But we know what you want. You want the best high school highlights in the state of Kentucky in Game Time. And we're going to be presented by Brian Milam and Lee K. Howard.
Anderson County and Woodford County are now together in the 8th region. The Jackets jumping from the 11th last season. Jackets 1-0, Bearcats 0-1. Brian's commercial impressions 0-3. Anderson County losing to Henry County by 1 in the season opener. Opening minutes is a perfect post move. That'll get them every time. Jackets up early. Fundamentals, though, on display for both teams in the first quarter. Great cut to the rack. Easy two for Tristan Staley. He would stay hot. Great crossover here. And that float game is strong. Bearcats up a pair, but the Yellow Jackets were on a mission. Brian White, wide open in the corner. Dial it up. Woodford County winners 63-54.
A ball dribbling down the court. The squeak of a shoe. The swoosh of the net. Sounds of a season opener game some can't believe they even get to play tonight.
We're just really fortunate that we're going to get to try this.
After learning from the trials and tribulations of fall sports, winter sports now get their moment.
Please make sure you're keeping 6 feet distance. There are marks on the floor for you.
Franklin County girls basketball coach Joey Thacker says it's taken a lot of preventative maintenance to get to tonight.
I have coaches that can't be here tonight because they're assigned to the freshman team. So we don't want to cross-contaminate, and so they can't sit on the varsity bench during the varsity game. So a lot of inconvenience to try to get some convenience back for these kids.
Kids like the two seniors on the team worried they'd miss their last chance to play high school ball this year. Temperature checks, health screenings, a gym that once hosted hundreds, now at 15% capacity. Measures worth it to a coach who just wants to see his girls play.
Well, I don't really know how to do anything else.
In Franklin County, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
So this is our setup for the state football finals. 6 championship games coming on. Take you over here first. This is where our talent will be, our broadcast crew. Got the nice little, that's the new little roadcaster that we got going on there. They got their little monitor there so they can see the replays. You see the video boards out there working. and I'll get into that here in a second. This is the streaming setup. So we got the big computer down here. You can see the 2080 Ti in there. I mean, that thing's loaded. But you see our setup here for streaming. And then we come over here to where Joe Allen's at. He's got a separate computer, and he's working all the video board stuff. So this computer right here, actually, it's what we call a string tank, custom built by the King of Stream. He's working all the video board ads, so you see what he sees on his program, and you see it out there on the thing as well, on the video board. Basically how the setup works is we've got 4 cameras set up here for this event. We got 2 on each, or 1 on each end zone. That's brought to us up here by fiber cable. And then we've got 1 camera on each 35 up top. So that's brought to us on SDI cables. So the 4 cameras total. We'll be running instant replays. We'll be running all 4 of those cameras going on at the same time and recording all separately at the same time. And then what I'm doing with my computer, with my video switch unit, is I'm sending Joe, you see all the wires going down there, but I'm sending him my signal over here on his computer. Joe, put that up there to where you're seeing my signal come through. We've got pre-made slides for all the possible state champions, so I don't want to show those on the screen, but there you see on the left-hand side is my program feed coming into Joe. That's how we're testing it, just running commercials right now. And then he's got separate commercials that he'll play while we're in timeout on the webcast. So, oh, this is pretty cool too. You see my T-Mobile Arena sticker there, because we've been doing we did some basketball games out there last year at T-Mobile Arena. But definitely a great setup that we've got going on here. So when Freddie Maggard and those guys get here, we'll be ready for them. Coach, just give us a preview of what you think about this coming season, and talk to us about some of your guys.
Well, I think our big concern, coming back is that, we lost a lot of experience on our basketball team last year. Grayson Henson returns as a junior. Our leading scorer, Connor Snap, who started almost every game last year, is back. And other than that, we're going to be very young. I mean, Riley Maston, a transfer from St. Pat, who didn't play his freshman year, he's going to help us immediately. 6'5", 190. Definitely a great kid to get into your program and into your school. And then we're looking at a freshmen and 8th graders. We've got a couple of juniors. And I think the good thing about it is we don't have a lot of varsity experience back, but we have a lot of kids back that are going to be able to help us on the court. We've got a few juniors, and Mike and Matt Jones, Evan Brooks, another junior. And then we've got a nice freshman class with Kylan Henson and Will Kelsch, and then Chase Archibald's an 8th grader. So, we've got a lot of kids that we feel like can help us and move forward with this basketball team for sure.
Coach, we kind of ended abruptly, there in March with, the boys' tournament not even getting to be played there. The girls were 5 games into it. This whole COVID situation, I know you're still shuffling schedules around too. How difficult has that been for you?
I think you're going to have to. I think we all know we're going to have to be very flexible, and we're going to have to be ready to act maybe the day of. Robertson County just contacted us last night. Our second game of the season is already canceled, and because of COVID, and so we're working to scramble to make up a date. And I think everybody understands that we're in a very different time, very different situation, and we've just got to play it day by day and be ready to move to find a game as soon as we can.
I I know you mentioned some of those guys, Coach, that are returning that you expect to be stars this season to step up for your team. Let's introduce some of those guys. Do you mind, Coach?
No, we could start with Grayson Henson. He'll be a junior, 26 points from 1,000, I believe, and obviously he's my son. He's kind of our leader. He's been playing starting varsity since he was a freshman. Definitely a great teammate. Gets everybody involved, and had 2 games last year where he had triple doubles. 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists is a pretty good night in high school basketball. So very unselfish, great teammate, and definitely somebody that I think everybody would like to have on their team for sure.
Okay, so what's it like playing for Dad?
I mean, it's great. I feel like he always trusts me with the ball in my hands, always, and I feel like it's always good to have someone you can trust by your side and with the ball whenever.
What can you tell us about your teammates?
My teammates are great. I played with a few of them before, like in JV and stuff like that, but I'm super excited to have Riley on the team this year. I think he's going to be a big help for us on the rebounding things, and he's just a big guy who can score the ball and get rebound.
All right, this is Connor Snap. Connor is going to be a sophomore this year. He started almost every game last year for us, had a breakout game against Tees Valley up in Greenup County, and kind of earned his way into the starting lineup. Was coming off the bench early in the season last year, and really had a lot of great games for us. And we've kind of looked to him for leadership with him and Grayson this year. And great student. All these kids are great students, and just very proud of the men that they are, the men they are becoming. So, Connor Snap.
Connor, what do you think playing for Coach and playing in this historic gym as well?
I like playing for Coach a lot. He really pushes me in practice, and he's always getting on me and always challenging me to do better and every day. He's always getting at me and everything to do my best and make myself a leader up to these younger kids that are playing and gonna be coming off the bench.
Yeah. And what do you think about your teammates this season, and what's your outlook for the team?
Like Grayson said, I played with him like in the 5th grade, and we had pretty good chemistry. And then they finally came back, and I was very excited. I was extremely excited. And Riley, I would play in St. Pat League. He was always a tough one to handle and everything. He's going to be a great person to include in this team. And then everyone else is just very hardworking, and I can trust them with the ball and everything.
Okay.
Now we have Riley Maston with us. He is a newcomer to the Augusta Independent School. He comes from us from St. Pat, where last year he did not play basketball. He started as an 8th grader at St. Pat for them, and it was actually a point guard and a shooting guard for them. He's hit a little bit of a growth spurt. He's about 6'5" now, about 190. He's playing the post. We're trying to get him to understand where he needs to be, and Riley's a great kid, fits in well. All our kids are very quiet and willing to be coached, and Riley's no different. So, Riley Maston.
Riley, your outlook on the season?
I think we're going to have a really great season. I've really meshed in with my teammates coming down here, and we've got really good chemistry, so I think we'll surprise some teams that don't think we'll beat them.
Coach mentioned some of your attributes that you bring to the team. What would you say would be your most biggest asset that you have, that you possess for the team?
I think I bring physicality and a post presence. I'm a lot bigger than most people on my team, so I think that'll play a big factor this season.
Yeah. Are you looking to get a lot of rebounds and blocks and
Yes.
that type of thing?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get quite a few rebounds, quite a few blocks, and contesting a lot of shots.
Would you say that you're more of a defensive guy or a scorer?
I'm probably more of an offensive person myself, but I take pride in defense too.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on getting to this point to where we're going to have basketball, and to being able to get your team ready to play come January 5th, I believe.
Yep, January 5th. January 4th.
January 4th.
January 4th.
A day late.
It'll be on Prep Spin.
That's right.
We're excited to be joining Prep Spin as well, and being able to live stream our games, and we're just excited about the season and keeping everybody healthy for sure. And we appreciate you having us.
All right, Coach. Good luck this season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Time for your Sutherland Chevrolet Drive of the Week. Lexington Catholic's Chloe Treese, the crossover, the step through, and kisses it off the glass for 2. Big night for Treese, big night for Lexington Catholic as they defeat Tates Creek 56-46. One more final look at this one as Treese takes the ball up the court, gives the head fake, the crossover, steps through, and uses the window. That's your Sutherland Chevrolet Drive of the Week.
Welcome back into the Scholastic Ball Report. And today, from UK Sports Medicine, we have Rob Ellery, the Director of Outreach and Athletic Training over at UK Sports Medicine. And today, he's going to talk to us a little bit about the new COVID protocols now that high school basketball has begun and all the other winter sports. So thanks for being with us today, Rob.
Thanks, Bridget.
All right, I got a couple questions for you. So as we get into the high school sports season, and you've already worked collegiate sports for sure, talk about who's responsible for setting up the protocols for participation inside the gymnasiums and courts.
So all our athletic trainers have used is the guidance by the KMA, which was in direct relationship and direct communication with the KHSAA and the Board of Control. And our athletic trainers throughout the state have been using those protocols that are set up with best interest in part for these student athletes. I know they use the CDC guidelines as well. And it's a challenge to go to these different gyms and different places all throughout the state because every gym is different. But I think that our schools are doing a great job of wanting to get the ball rolling, literally.
So talk about the protocols actually. So on an evening you go into a high school gym, what are the changes that have been made?
So the changes that have been made mostly have been really separating out the benches and trying to recognize the social distance that can occur on the benches. I know the big thing that the CDC has really pushed upon is the exposure rate and the exposure of the student athletes with a consistent person. I know at the university level, they are wearing sensors now to determine the amount of exposure to a specific person that they're wearing. And so it gives you an idea. And I know the trickle down effect, we can use that information as a model to what our basketball teams are using. I know here at UK, our football players wore these, and I know our basketball team's wearing them as well to determine the amount of exposure that they're having with certain athletes. Wearing masks on the sideline, the student athletes bringing their own water bottles and doing those sorts of things. So it's a little bit of a change, but I think it's easy changes that can occur to allow this to happen. The biggest thing is I think the student athletes need to be aware and be cognizant that to be careful when they're outside the gym and outside the school setting. I think that our student athletes and our coaches and our administrators and our athletic trainers are doing a great job of preventing and keeping things sanitized and clean in the school setting. But I think the problem is what they're doing outside and what they're doing in their homes and things like that, I think is the biggest challenge that we're facing right now.
I'd say you and your staff are fairly used to that a little bit because of your work also on the collegiate level, which is, a great help. How long do you think all of this will last?
Unfortunately, I'm afraid it's going to last throughout the spring. I know in talking to Commissioner Tackett and things like that, I think these guidelines are going to be in place all the way up to the state baseball, state softball, and track championships, and hopefully the fall of 2021 will look more like the fall of 2019. I know Commissioner Tackett has said that in the past, and we're just hoping and praying that we can and move forward and try to get this vaccine and get everything back to quote unquote normal.
Well, thank you, Rob. Always great work by UK Sports Medicine. Enjoy working with you. Thanks so much for your time today. That's Rob Ellery from UK Sports Medicine. You heard it here on the Scholastic Ball Report. Well, that's our show for this week. I hope you come back next week and join us for another lineup of great high school sports. And remember, for those you see and those you don't see, you keep your eye on the Scholastic Ball Report.
The Scholastic Ball Report was sponsored by UK Sports Medicine and by Central Bank, Crown Trophy, Double Dogs, Ford Brothers Auction, Kentucky Orthodontics and Invisalign, La Rosa's Pizza, Mingy Beef Jerky, Panel Swim Shop, Prep Spin, P-Rats, Rafferty's, Raising Cane's, Roberts Insurance, Sutherland Chevrolet, and by Whitaker Bank.